Hello everybody, welcome to the channel. But before we get started here, I wanted to simply say a few words. This video will be dedicated to Thora, one of our fur babies that we unfortunately lost recently. She was set free, and it's been one of the hardest things myself and my family has ever faced. And I just wanted to come on here just for a quick minute and talk about her a little bit and really it's my own way of trying to immortalize her forever in something that I do, and that is this YouTube channel, and I want her to be remembered forever. You also might know her from my Horror Room Tour 2021. She was in that video. Unfortunately, she has passed away now, and just to kind of put things in perspective, my wife and I have been together for 14 years, and we had Thora for almost 11. She was our first shot at responsibility. She was our first daughter. She was everything. And just her not being here anymore has just been so damn hard. You know, coming home and her not coming up to me anymore, coming down the stairs when I come in the door. It's been really hard, you guys, and in some weird way, it feels therapeutic to talk about her. So this video, again, is dedicated to her. It's dedicated to our baby that we love and we miss every single day. And I just want to say that when I moved out of my childhood home, she was there. When my wife and I rented our first house, she was there. When we bought our first car, she was there. For the birth of both of our daughters, she was there. And when my wife and I bought our very own home, she was also there. And although she can't be in any of those places anymore, she's always going to be in my heart. So I just want to say thank you to everybody that came through and showed us so much support, you guys. Oh my God. The support and love that we got was unfathomable, you guys. The phone calls, the text messages, the Snapchats, the Facebook messages, the emails. You know who you are. I just want to say thank you, and I love you all so much. Thank you so much for helping me and my family through this, because I miss her so much. I'm going to get through this, all right? I'm going to get through this. I just want to say thank you all so very much. Thora, this one's for you, baby, this video. Let's get into it. Hello and welcome back to the channel, but just in case you're new here, my name is Mike, and in this video, we are going to be ranking the Predator franchise, all the Predator films, including the 2 AVP films, and I'm going to put them in an order from my least favorite to my favorite, so hopefully you don't give me too much shit about it and you put yours down in the comments below. As I said before, Thora, this one's for you, baby. Let's slice right into it. Finding its way in my number 6 slot, and yes, it very much does deserve it, because after walking out of this movie, quite honestly, the only thing I could really say about it was this.
What the hell are you?
What the hell? Alright, now, a little bit of background before I start talking about The Predator. Now, I was a huge, lifelong Predator fan. I grew up watching the first 2 movies, loved them, everything like that. Predators, when that came out, loved that too. Get more on that later. But I was following the promotion and the releases and the trailers and the teasers and everything when the movie was coming out. And I saw, okay, Shane Black is involved, alright? He's going to be directing. I'm like, alright, cool, awesome. At least we're getting someone that's been in the franchise before. Now, it's not like I was totally familiar with Shane's filmography, or I could draw from other things that he's done that I've really liked, or anything like that. But I just knew he was a part of the franchise, so surely he's going to do it justice, right? I mean, he has to. This movie I saw in the theater with my brother, and I gotta tell you, it was one of the biggest disappointments I've ever seen in a movie theater. It's right up there with Jigsaw. This movie broke my heart and pissed me off in ways beyond belief. So let's talk about it. First and foremost, the plot of this movie I just do not like. The Yautjas, or whatever they're called, I don't know how to pronounce it, but the Predator race They do a lot of things in this movie that I, quite frankly, don't think they would do. The whole plot and premise of this movie is predators are gene splicing to try to make the ultimate creature, the ultimate hunter, the ultimate killer, the ultimate whatever. First of all, I don't see predators doing that. They are very prideful, very honorable creatures by nature. They've always been that way. I don't think they would take human DNA and stick it in their buddies and just to see what happens. I don't think they would crossbreed like that. I personally just don't see it. So right off the bat, I didn't like the whole premise of the movie. Didn't like it. Another thing I couldn't stand about this movie. Now I got a lot, but I'm just gonna do like the three main big ones. Number one, the plot and stuff didn't make sense to me. Didn't like it. Number two thing I couldn't stand about this movie was it feels to me like a comedy. There's so many times in this movie where it just feels like a schlocky comedy film. There's constant comedy throughout. It's like punchlines. It's not subtle comedy like something in Spiral, where Chris Rock says funny things, but it's not a punchline. It's very subtle. This movie doesn't have that at all. And let me tell you something. When you're watching a Predator movie about a killer fucking what they call a space alien that literally kills, skins, and strings people up from trees, the last thing I want to do in this movie is laugh. You do a couple jokes like in the first one, that's fine. That tone worked. With this movie, it did not. This movie felt like a comedy, and it really, really suffered for that. There's no redeemable characters for me. I don't give a shit about any of them. Didn't like it at all. There's so many things that Predator did that was un-Predator-like. All the way even to, all due respect to whoever played the Predator, but even the way the Predator walked and he's like swinging his arms and shit the whole movie, I didn't like that. Who the fuck was doing that? What the fuck were you doing? I don't like this movie, and like I said, I got nitpicks and gripes all day long, but number two is just that. So, number three, another thing I don't like is the stupidest, wackest, backwards thing I have ever seen. What's one thing we all know about the Predators? I don't care what comic book you read. I don't care what movie you watch. The Predators always protect and cover up their technology. They always destroy it or blow it up or they melt it with that blue shit like an AVPR. They never want their technology falling into the wrong hands or to anybody else but their race, okay, their species. So explain to me this, that the Predator at the end of the movie was trying to give a gift to us humans that literally is designed to kill his own race, also is completely done in PredTech. The thing that they have always gone above and beyond to protect and hide from us. What the fuck is that? Who came up with this fucking concept? I know who did. It was Shane Black. You want to know why? Because here's a fun fact for you. He also directed Iron Man 3. Or wrote it, one of the two. But he did Iron Man 3. So he was like, oh, I know a good crossover. What about Predator meets Iron Man? Yeah, and then we'll have this awesome suit and turn into the Predator killer. You know what I'm saying? At the end of the movie? No, here's a crossover for you. My boot and your ass. Because I hate the end of this movie. And it also happens to end on the cringiest line I have ever heard in my life.
That's my new suit, Bubba. Hope they got it in 42 long.
I hope they make it in a 42 long. You know, bend over, buddy. I'll give you a fucking 42 long. I hate that ending. I hate this movie. It broke my heart. And I'm done talking about it. Because believe me, I could go on fucking for another 20 minutes about the shit I hate about this movie. It's in last place, and it deserves to be. But at number 5, now I have to say before I give you guys my number 5 pick, every other movie on this list I enjoy substantially. But this one, unfortunately, just not as much as the other 4. Number 5 for me is the first Alien vs. Predator film. Now, again, you guys, if you guys know me or if you're a friend of mine or you're a longtime viewer of the channel, I am a huge versus guy. When you take two monsters or creatures or slashers or whatever that I love and they go at it, you put them in the same movie like a crossover, a versus, that shit tickles me pink. Legit. I love it. I watched the trailer for Alien vs. Predator 100 times when it was coming out. I would show everybody, my mom, my dad, my friends, my brother. I would pound this shit down their throat. AVP, AVP. I couldn't wait. I remember cutting pictures out and taping them on my folders back in the day at school. I couldn't wait for this movie to come out. Unfortunately, I saw the movie twice in the theater, and I have a lot of gripes about it. Now, most of my gripes I have outgrown and I look at differently now that I'm a little older and I've dug into the lore of predators and xenomorphs a little more than I have like when I was younger. So a lot of my gripes I let go of, but ultimately this movie suffers from a lot of things. Number one is the characters. I cannot tell you the name of a single character in this movie. I can tell you the predators. You got Chopper, you got Celtic, and you got Scar. And you got Grid Alien. But the human characters, I couldn't name any of them. Well, Wayland, okay, Bishop. But that's a given. He's from the Alien franchise. Any other character, I couldn't name any of them. Because to me, they were just flat, they were just dull, they were just there, did nothing for me. Now, that's not to say that this movie didn't have a lot of good things, because it does. It has a lot of great, great qualities to it. But you know, the other major thing that this movie suffers from, and I knew it the second I saw the trailer, when you see Alien vs. Predator, two R-rated franchises, two killers, two creatures come together, and the movie's PG-13, ooh, you knew that was gonna hit him hard, and it did. There's so many scenes in this movie of the wrist blades extending and cut scene, cut camera, off-screen kills, people getting stabbed or shot, and there's no squibs, there's no blood, there's no opening in their jackets. It's very PG-13. It's not bloody enough. It doesn't have to be a gore fucking fest. It doesn't have to be that. But being a PG-13 movie really suffered. Really suffered. This movie. It suffered. This movie suffered because of it, because of the PG-13 rating. And, you know, the Predators were supposed to be the biggest and baddest Predators ever, and they kind of got punked out by one Xeno. Let's kind of be honest about that. So, unfortunately, this movie could have been this, and it ended up being this, but it's still eons better than my sixth pick. But that's ultimately, in a nutshell, how I feel about Alien vs. Predator, and it's number 5. All right. This is where people are going to start hating me. Hear me out. These next 4 movies are interchangeable for me. Ranking these next 4 was the hardest ranking I have ever done in the history of my channel, because I love these next 4 movies so much that all the way up until hitting the record button, I was still processing it in my mind and seeing which one I wanted to put where. With that being said, please don't kill me. Number 4 is the original Predator. Now hear me out on this. The original Predator movie, I think, is one of the greatest sci-fi monster movies ever made. It's absolutely perfect. The characters are fun. They're engaging. The sense of camaraderie. I love everything about it. The way the jungle looks, the scenery. It's just as much a part of the movie as the characters are. How they're always hidden behind something. It's so well shot and it's beautifully done. It's a little dated, you know, it's a little bit dated in some of the camera cuts and stuff, like the whole 80s muscle men zoom in on the muscles and all the sweat and stuff. A little bit dated, but not bad. Because I watched it again recently for the umpteenth time, and it doesn't feel dated. It really stands up to the test of time. So I don't have anything bad to say about this movie. Nothing at all. It's a damn near perfect movie. It's an awesome action movie, too. That classic Arnold Schwarzenegger, man. He got that gun. Bah, 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 bah. People fucking dying. People blowing up. Squibs going off everywhere. It's a great, fun movie. And then when the Predator shows up, it really shifts into that sci-fi horror alien shit. And it does it so well. And of course gave birth to one of the coolest creatures we've ever had grace the fucking big screen. So I have nothing bad to say about The Predator. It birthed a meme with Get to the Chopper. And it was amazing. Carl Weathers was fucking phenomenal. Arnold Schwarzenegger was phenomenal. Even Shane Black in this movie was phenomenal. Everybody was phenomenal. I loved all the characters. It's a perfect fucking movie. It just comes down to, number 1, memories from my past, and 2, rewatchability, and that's the only reason it's this long on the list. I have nothing bad to say about it. Number 3 for me is going to be a movie that I will defend till the day I die. You know what I'm saying? The day I fucking die. You know what? I want this shit chiseled on my tombstone. Predators is a great fucking movie. It is. I love this movie. My brother and I went and saw this in theaters, of course. We went and saw it, and we walked out of there like, dude, that was awesome. It was such a fun movie. Now, of course, they went back to the jungle because that's what everybody wanted. The original Predator movie did so much better than the second movie. It's in box office, in critic reviews, in fan raves, all that stuff. Everybody wanted the Predator to be rocking the jungle. That's what everybody liked. So they went back to the jungle with a whole new plot and premise of dropping some of the convicts and some of the most badass humans ever on this island to be hunted by this rival tribal clan of predators. And everything about the movie was fucking phenomenal. The kills were great. The effects were great. The fucking characters were great. The acting was great. The story was great. I mean, you had some heavy hitters in here, you guys. You had Danny Trejo. You had Lawrence Fishburne. You had Walton Goggins. You had the guy from That 70s Show. I mean, you had some awesome people in this movie, and everybody played their role to perfection. And I loved the idea about seeing a group or a tribe of predators that said, you know what, fuck the rules, fuck the honor, fuck all that shit. Let's just be crazy, wild killers and just do what we want for the fun of it. They turned their back on everything the predators stand for, and they were just savages. Just like real life people, right? There's some psychopaths out there that don't live by society's rules, right? These predators did just that, and they did it so well with some great action, some great effects, and like I said before, I just love this movie top to bottom. I'm trying to keep it a little bit shorter because I could just go on all day about how much I love this fucking movie. The subtle callbacks and Easter eggs to the first movie were great, and they were brilliant. I can't say that word. And they were greatly placed without the movie. Couple, one here, one there. It wasn't like too much. Like The Predator, for instance, in that fucking abomination of a movie, it was every fucking 5 minutes that they would try to do some Easter egg or some throwback or callback to the first one and do it horrible, by the way. Like, ugh. And here I am bitching about The Predator again. Predators, number 3, love the movie. Like I said, interchangeable, man. Love this movie. I will defend it forever. Finding its way at my number 2 slot is going to be Predator 2. That's right, Predator 2. Another movie that's currently sitting at 33% on Rotten Tomatoes. We see why it's rotten. Because this movie is phenomenal. Again, like I've said about other movies in the past, such as Aliens or Child's Play 2 or Terminator 2 Judgment Day, Predator 2, in my opinion, is one of the best sequels that horror has ever received. Now, sometimes you got to be careful with sequels because if it's too different from the original, people will just say, F this, I'm done with it, and they don't like it. Me, personally, taking the Predator out of the jungle and putting him in the city, the concrete jungle, was just different enough to make it work. But you had to get the right lead to do it, and Danny Glover knocked it out of the park. He is Mike Harrigan to me. He is Detective Tapp to me. I love Danny Glover, and I love him in this movie. I thought he played it perfectly. Everything about the movie, again, the pacing, the characters, everything about it was so much fun. And one thing I really loved about this movie too, in particular the bathroom scene, where the Predator is in the bathroom and you really get a good look at the costume and the effects and the prosthetics of the Predator. You got a really good look at just how wonderfully they brought this Predator to life and how good the costume looks. It looks so cool because you got to remember, in the first movie, the Predator was cloaked for most of it, and even toward the end, it was a darker movie. So, you got to understand that too. It was nice to see the Predator like full-fledged like that because they really got to show off the effects and how awesome of a job they did. The City Hunter, it might be my favorite Predator in the whole franchise in terms of the look of the Predator himself. And another thing I love about Predator 2, I absolutely love is the subway scene. The subway scene with Bill Paxton. Um, It was phenomenal. It was the first time you got to see a little bit more into the psyche of a predator and their do's and don'ts and their rules of the hunt. When he didn't want to kill the lady for being pregnant and he wasn't killing anyone that was unarmed. That's when you kind of start putting things together. It's really cool. I really love that scene. It's one of the greatest scenes in horror history, honestly, in my opinion. Like James and I did a massacre kill list back then, or we did a kill list, and I think we both picked a massacre one. This one just eked out by a little bit, but I'm glad I could talk about it now because it's a great scene. And let's be honest, this could be argued, but to me, Predator 2 has the greatest lines in the whole franchise. The whole franchise. Bar none. My brother and I have quoted this movie 1,000 times over since we were kids. Everything in this movie that has been said was just phenomenal. And here's a clip of them.
It's all right, I'm a cop.
I don't think he gives a shit.
Okay, pussy face. It's your move. Shit happens. You are one ugly mother. Motherfucker. Okay, who's next?
I can't tell you guys how many times my brother and I have said to each other, man, it's okay, I'm a cop. Or, I don't think he gives a shit. I can't tell you how many times we've said that to each other. Or the, Danny Glover kind of saying what we're all thinking here. All right, pussy face. Fucking funny, and I love it so much. And he also has the most badass line ever with the who's next, after being surrounded by the lost tribe at the end of the movie. And one more thing that I can just pretty much gush over with Predator 2 is we got to see the xenomorph skull in the Predator ship. Now let me tell you, my brother and I lost our shit when we were kids and we saw this movie, because that told us that they're in the same universe, and that means the filmmakers are going to bring them together, and that means that they know that we want to see it. It was just like Freddy's hand coming out of the ground, grabbing Jason's mask and pulling it in the dirt. It was the same feeling of me just geeking out and probably having to change my underwear because I got so excited. That is beautifully done for me. I love Predator 2. I can go on all night, but it's number 2 on my list. But at number 1, which is going to shock people, it's also probably going to piss people off, let's be honest, it's AVP-R. I love AVP-R. Now, I have some awesome memories attached with this movie. With my wife, who was then at the time my girlfriend, and I remember showing her the movie and cuddling on the couch together, and, stuff like that, some great memories with this movie, and, seeing it in the theater twice. My brother and I we always just wanted a good Alien versus Predator movie. It was in our blood. It was in our hearts. We really wanted it. So when we got the first one, we were really let down, and we're like, come on, man. Come on. Somebody do a good AVP movie. And to my surprise, it came out. It came out in December of whatever year that was, because I'm not good with years. AVP-R was fucking phenomenal. I feel like it improved on everything that the first one kind of dragged on. And the Wolf Predator is one of the most... He probably is the most badass Predator we've ever gotten on screen. He's an elite Predator, and he was handling Xenos like they weren't shit. And honestly, quite frankly, that's how it should be. I think it would... any decent Predator should be able to take out a pretty good handful of aliens or xenomorphs without getting touched, for the most part. So I love that. I do like the characters, and I just loved the action in this movie. Everything about the action, the pacing, and the fact that they took no fucking prisoners. In the first few minutes of the movie, a facehugger grabs the kid, and I'm like, whoa, whoa. It was almost like they were like, hey, Paul Anderson, yeah, we saw that you got a PG-13 movie. Yeah, I saw that. That's real cute, but we're going to have a facehugger kill a kid or impregnate the kid in like the first 10 minutes of the movie. I don't even think it's 10 minutes in. That's what's up. That's what's up. They went so far with this movie, if you guys don't know, they actually have a deleted scene where the fucking Pred alien was eating babies in the fucking hospital. That's how serious they took this movie, because they know that the xenomorphs and the predators, they're killers, man. They're fucking brutal killers. This ain't no PG-13 shit. So I love that. I love the fights. I love the predators. I love the effects. But one thing that just constantly just tickles me about this movie that brought a dream of mine to life was a Pred alien. The fucking Pred alien. My brother and I, even though Alien vs. Predator, the first one was not our favorite movie, when that Pred alien popped out of Scar's chest, we fucking jumped out of our seat, and I think we hit our fucking heads on the ceiling of the theater, because my brother and I love AVP. We were diehard fans, we always have been, and we always played a game called Alien vs. Predator Extinction. It was for the Xbox, and one thing you can do in that game, if you played as the Predators, you could as the Xenomorphs, you could make Pred aliens. And John and I, my brother, were always like, dude, how dope would it be to see a Pred alien, like, in a movie? And they fucking did it, and he's a badass, and he looks fucking awesome, and I love him. Chet. Chet is what they called him, and he remains the only Pred alien that we've ever had on screen, and he's done perfectly. I love him so much. Love this movie so much. Again, I can go on all day. Now, not to say this movie is perfect, all right? I have to be fair here. The movie is not perfect. I do have a handful of nitpicks. I got about 3 off the top of my head that I'm not that thrilled about with the movie. They're kind of nitpicks, but ultimately this movie means so much to me. And just seeing these characters on the screen, these monsters on the screen together in a satisfying movie was a dream come true for me. And it's just like Freddy vs. Jason. It's not even about the quality of the film. It really is. Not that it's bad quality. It's just simply, it was simply a dream come true for me to see these characters come together in a very fun fucking movie that I love to this very day. Now, I understand what everybody's going to say. I can just smell it. Can you smell what the comments are cooking? Everybody has the same gripe about this movie, right? Say it with me, everybody. It's too dark. Really? Is this too dark for you? Is this okay? Hello, can you guys hear me? You know, what? Oh, there I am. That wasn't so bad now, was it? This movie's fucking awesome. I love it. It's number 1. And of course, I want to say thank you all so very much for watching and welcoming me back, because I know you're all going to down in the comment section below. Let me know your ranking of the Predator franchise. Let me know what you liked, what you didn't like. Let's just talk about Predators and Aliens, shall we? Because I, for one, have been getting geeked to shit. And I also, things collectors say, I will never ever collect that line. I will never go down that rabbit hole. As you can see behind me, I have 2 NECA Predator figures because I am officially jumping down the rabbit hole. Full-on Xenomorph and Predator collections. They'll be in my next horror room tour. This is all getting redone. If y'all only knew the amount of shit that's on the other side of this camera, horror room's getting redone. It's going to be fucking awesome. So again, let me know down in the comments below anything you want to let me know about Predators or Aliens or anything else you feel like talking about. And while you're at it, if you're already typing away, you can head on over to Facebook if you want to join a group where you can be surrounded by like-minded people just like yourself that have the same hobbies and passions that you do, but are all good people. We're trying to grow our community, and this is one way that we do it. So go to Facebook and type in, "This is our design, HC." My wife or myself will accept you right away, and you can start talking some bloody good shit. So again, thank you all so much for watching. My name is Mike, and this is my design.
I steal every star from a midnight sky. Walk through the fire, not afraid to die. Living without your love is driving me mad. Girl, I miss you. I miss you bad. I really miss you. I miss you bad.